Hey everyone, welcome back. Tonight we're going to be talking about my favorite Nasomatto, which is Pardon. A lot of people believe that this is the most popular Nasomatto besides Black Afghano, that this is the most compliment-getting one, that this would be the most ideal for a guy, the most mass-pleasing. I tend to disagree with that. Although this is my favorite Nasomatto, out of all of them, I would say this is among the less complimented. I would say the most complimented Nasomatto would be Burro. Anyways, on with the review. This is personally my favorite. I think the woody chocolate note, I think the sandalwood with the tonka and the cinnamon is really nice. I'm just going to do the unboxing. It's not an actual official unboxing, but I'm just going to kind of show you what the box looks like. So here you have your Genie Fox. And on the back, of course, Nasomatto has their little description, their little artistic interpretation of it. This bottle of perfume is part of the Project Nasomatto. This fragrance aims to evoke the persuasion of the utmost masculine elegance and charm. I do think this leans masculine. There are, however, some grounding kind of feminine notes. There's flowers and there's magnolia in here. Sandalwood is one of those notes that can kind of go either way, masculine or feminine. The oud is definitely, it's definitely kind of, I don't want to call it a skanky oud, but it's not it's not a clean oud, and it's sort of medicinal. I would say it's medicinal. Let me go ahead and unbox this for you. I don't want this to fall out. In typical Nasomatto fashion, you have your travel cap, and you have your actual bottle here. I'm going to pull it out. So what's interesting about the Nasomatto bottles, and you'll see it in every other Nasomatto video I've done, I'll link them here or here, I forget where it mirrors. The cap is kind of telling of where the fragrance is going, and typically the more square caps are the masculine, the rounder are the feminine. This is a trend I've noticed, and also the cap color it's kind of the vibe and the mood of the fragrance, and as you can see, it's kind of a brown. And I think that's very telling of the fragrance because the two most notable notes are both oud and chocolate, which are kind of brown notes. So here you have this masculine brown, oud chocolate. So it kind of tells you where the fragrance is going. And as well, you've got your juice here, which is kind of it's brown. It's almost a little green. It has kind of a greenish hue, which is interesting. And I'll go ahead and just give it a whiff just to smell it. Yeah, it's the chocolate note in here. It's not a sweet chocolate. It's definitely, I would say, a darker, unsweetened chocolate, a dark chocolate. Then with the oud, and I also pick up patchouli in here. Alessandro Gualtieri, I'm just putting it up because I don't want to like fiddle around with it. He never lists his notes, so it's up to you, the smeller, I guess we're going to call it, to pick out what's in there. So what you'll see in Fragrantica and everything else is actually completely people's interpretation. We don't actually have the official list. I pick up patchouli in there. The patchouli, the oud, and the chocolate come together, and it's kind of, they kind of play tricks on you because you don't know what note is really stronger in the fragrance. Some people say they pick up a lot of oud, no chocolate, no patchouli. Some people say they pick up the patchouli, no oud, no chocolate, and it'd be the same thing for the chocolate. I get a balance of the three, so I guess my answer is uninteresting, but I definitely get a balance of the three. I see where they're at. The oud's kind of medicinal. The patchouli is kind of like a moist, greener, earthier one. There's different, I'd say, tiers of patchouli. Not all patchouli is equal. It's not one singular note. There's kind of sweeter. There's kind of more earthy, moist. I'd say this is kind of an earthier, moister one. So this fragrance, I would say it has some sweetness to it, but it's not just the chocolate. There's also the tonka in here, the cinnamon, and the sandalwood. And Alessandro Gualtieri, he loves sandalwood and he loves oud in his fragrances. So, of course, there's going to be sandalwood and oud in here. And the sandalwood, he purportedly says, and there's a documentary, it's The Making of Blamage, or Finding Blamage, I forget, it's one of those two. And he says he likes milky sandalwood, and I definitely get that in here. It's kind of this milky, creamy sandalwood. And some people say that there's been reformulations. And I think Black Afghano, admittedly, has been reformulated. I don't think Pardon has. We're not going to go into that in this video. But it wears, on my skin, it wears well. It's an extrait de parfum. So it has very strong longevity. On some people, it's, beast mode projection. On me, it's not. It hangs, I'd say, average to closer on my skin. I know that's kind of crazy to believe with such a high concentration, but high concentration doesn't necessarily mean far projection. It can also just mean a strong longevity up close to you, and that's kind of what I get, is I have this close bubble, but man, it lasts hours, a night, 24 hours. I can smell it days later. And that's what I like, because I prefer things to not reach out too far at people. That's another topic for another video. So this works really well for me. I think it's intimate. I think it's well liked. I don't want to say mass pleasing. I don't want to say mass pleasing because the oud will turn off some people. There's a lot of hype saying this is the friendliest one. Burlanda is definitely the friendliest one. This is not so friendly because the oud's the main note to my nose. And chocolate's in there, and people are like, oh, it's a chocolate cinnamon flower. Yeah, it's in there, but they're not the main players. It's definitely all about the oud, and I get more patchouli than chocolate. So there's some chocolate in there. But, no one's ever, when someone said something about the fragrance, no one's ever mentioned chocolate. They just kind of get this cinnamon, vanilla-y vibe and some woodiness to it. There's woody notes beyond just the oud. So I wouldn't say this is an easy fragrance to wear. I would actually classify this as a more challenging fragrance. And I know that goes against the grain of what a lot of people say, but I'm just trying to be as honest as I can. This is my favorite Nasomatto, by the way, so it sounds like it's not from what I'm saying, but I'm being critical, of my favorite one, and there's definitely some flaws to it. I think it is an intimate masculine fragrance, but it's not super mass pleasing. It's warm. It gives off this warmth though, and it's comforting to me. It's a comfort scent. Some people are like, oh, this is kind of a clubby scent. It's not. This is not a go out rowdy scent. This is an intimate date. Close encounters, lounging at a bar, something like that. It doesn't grab people and bring them in. It's just kind of comforting once you're in the bubble. It lasts a long, a bottle is 30 milliliters like they all are. It lasts a long time. 2 or 3 sprays is all you need. A little dab will do you. You'll get a whole night's wear out of it. You'll get more. You'll get more than you probably want of a wear from this. So it's in my collection. I love it. It's not going anywhere. I've sold some other things in my collection, but this one's definitely here to stay. And as always, Nasomatto was such a good presentation. I love it. It's beautiful. But it stays in its box, out of the light and everything like that. But that's something for another video. Anyways, thanks, guys. Until next time.